President Putin is going for the jugular. He has launched a new recruitment drive today. The plan is to draft 160,000 men into the Russian army, another 160,000 men to join the army. Now, this is a massive build-up. It is Russia's biggest conscription since 2011. All Russian men between the age of 18 and 30 can be drafted. They will have to serve for 1 year. And where will they serve? Typically away from the front line, because Russia leaves the fighting to train soldiers. So these new recruits are mostly backups. Nonetheless, the timing is very significant. The US and Ukraine are trying to force Putin into a ceasefire. And what does Putin do? He announces a massive military recruitment drive. It's a very clear message for Moscow. Pressure will not work. A message from Moscow, rather, that pressure will not work. The war will only end on Putin's terms. But President Donald Trump is still hopeful. He says Putin will live up to his promise.
I think he's going to live up to what he told me, and I think he's going to fulfill his part of the deal. Now, then you have Zelensky, and hopefully he's going to live up. I see he's trying to renegotiate the rare earth.
And what about Ukraine? President Zelensky predicted this last week. He said Russia was planning new operations in Sumy, in Kharkiv, and in Zaporizhia. He said Putin's plan is to drag out the peace talks to gain as much land as possible. European countries also share this assessment. Their top diplomats met in Madrid yesterday. They were joined by the UK's foreign minister, and all of them had two demands. One, if Russia is serious about peace, it should accept a ceasefire. And two, the US must put pressure on Russia.
A few weeks ago, Ukraine agreed on an unconditional ceasefire, whilst Russia keeps perpetrating war crimes, and I say this on the 3rd anniversary of the Bucha massacre. And I believe Russia today owes the United States of America, who have committed to reaching a ceasefire, a clear answer on whether it wants to go on the path of peace, yes or no.
So Europe is calling out Russia. They are saying, give us a clear answer. Do you want a ceasefire or not? And Putin already gave his response last month. It wasn't a yes or a no. It was a maybe. You see, Russia has all the battlefield advantage at the moment, and they will want the truce to reflect that, to give them concessions. But Ukraine and Europe are unwilling to accept that. They want to give guarantees and recover lost Ukrainian land, both of which are non-starters for Moscow. So how can we break this deadlock? Trump is trying from his end, but could there be pressure from another end? Perhaps from China. I ask because the Chinese foreign minister is in Moscow, Wang Yi. He's on a 3-day trip to Russia, and he had held 2 key meetings today. First, with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and then with President Putin. In Moscow, Wang Yi spoke to the Russian media. He talked about the ongoing peace talks. Let me quote from what he said. The step towards peace, although not that big, is constructive. It's worth building on it. With peace, it is no pain, no gain. You need to work hard to achieve it. Now, this has largely been China's position. Yes, we need peace in Ukraine, but we must acknowledge Russia's concerns, which is exactly what Trump is doing. But will President Xi go that extra mile? Will he ask Putin to take a ceasefire? Trump was certainly hopeful of it. He admitted that China has a great deal of influence over Putin. He also urged Beijing to persuade Moscow. Listen to this.
Hopefully China can help us stop the war with, in particular, Russia, Ukraine. They have a great deal of power over that situation. And we'll work with them. And I mentioned that during our phone conversation with President Xi. And hopefully we could work together and get that stopped.
Does China have the leverage? Their trade with Russia stands at $224 billion. China is Russia's largest trading partner. It has been for 14 years now. Plus, China gives a lot of dual-use goods to Russia. Dual-use goods are things that have both military and civilian use. So in short, yes, China does have the leverage. But does it also have the political will? This question is a lot tougher to answer. If China can persuade Putin, they will have Donald Trump's gratitude. It's worth a lot right now because Trump has launched a trade war with China. So Beijing would love a change in fortunes to be in Trump's good books. Having said that, there is a downside too. If this war ends, US-Russia ties will improve considerably, and Trump has been quite open about this. He wants to deepen relations with Moscow. At the same time, he wants to break up the Russia-China axis. So it's a tough call for Beijing. Yes, they would like to see the war end. It would open up supply chains and energy markets. But do they have sufficient confidence in their ties with Moscow? Can it survive Trump's reset with Russia? In today's meeting, Wang Yi projected confidence. He said China and Russia would not tolerate interference from outside. He said their ties are not against a third country. Let's see if this confidence allows Beijing to push Vladimir.